Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm showing you two Christmas cards that I made back in August. So I've had this video sitting in the bank for a while and I'm dying to show you how I made these cards. They are really easy. They take a little while with all the embossing, but they look really cute. Just before we get started, I thought I would show you this card. This is the card that inspired the ones that I'm making today, and it's the reason I bought the How You Been cookie add-on. It was just so cute, I wanted to make something like it. So the main stamp sets I'm using today are the Polar Pals by Avery, Elle, the Holiday Helpers by Fawn, Merry Messages by Fawn, and a whole heap of other sets that I thought the little pieces would look good embossed to look like cookies. So I'm going to start off by stamping out my images, and from the Holiday Helpers I use the two little elves. And then from the Polar Pals I use the reindeer and the polar bear. I then started stamping on some craft cardstock, making sure I covered my cardstock in my anti-static powder before stamping with my embossing ink. I then used a whole bunch of white embossing powder for this card. So by the end of it, I was pretty happy with my skills with embossing. I did little gingerbread, I did little houses, I did heart-shaped cookies, these big cookies. I did so many. Even these little houses from one of the village sets, they just looked so cute. Pretty much everything in white embossing powder can be turned into a cookie, which is a good tip depending on what theme card you want to go. I might not have time to do it before Christmas, but I was just thinking maybe even the alien sets by Fawn. If you manage to have the time to do it and make like an alien themed Christmas card with all of the little alien themed cookies, that would just be so cute. I just wish I had the time to make everything that pops into my head. Here I am just stamping out more and more images. These ones were actually cookies. And here I am just adding some final touches onto these, using that squiggly icing line from the cookie stamp set. I also used a couple of other ones just to decorate them a little bit. And here is the pile that I had to cut out. Now I don't use dies for my cutting anymore, I use scissors, so that took me quite a while to get through. That was probably the longest part of this whole card. Now onto colouring my images. I'm using mostly Copic markers for these. Just using my simple technique of only using two colours to colour them in and lightly blending them. And just like always, once I finish colouring my images, I go over them with my white jelly roll pens to add some little white details. Once all of my colouring was done, it was then time to make these little wreaths. I cut this circle on my Cricut, but if you had lots of stacking circle dies, you could probably make one of these really easy. It was then just a matter of arranging these cookies all over the place, kind of trying to keep it even, but also making it not look too organised. I used my tape runner to stick these down, and I noticed in the first photos of this video that one of them had actually come loose. So if I were to make these again, I would probably use my PVA glue instead. I think I just like the idea of being able to move things around without leaving glue on all the other cookies. But I do think that my PVA glue probably adheres a bit longer and more permanent than those tape runners. I made 2 of these wreaths, one for each card. Once that was done, it was then time to decide on what patterned paper this would work with. Now, I've recently done a video for the only layout that you'll ever need, and this is following the same layout. So I get to use up some of my pattern paper. It's got a little scene on top and just a simple sentiment on the card. I really liked this red paper. I felt like the cookies really stood out. They didn't get lost in the design. I then loaded up my little banner with tons of anti-static powder and then embossed my sentiment onto the banner. And after doing all of those cookies, I think I had this step down pat. For one sentiment, I did peace, joy, love, and cookies. And for the other one, have a very sweet holiday. Both of these sentiments worked so well with these designs. And here I am putting my card fronts together. I then used some double-sided tape for the backs of my card front and stuck them onto my card base. And there we have it, both cards complete. Which one is your favourite? The one with the Avery Elle polar pals or the one with the lawn fawn little elves? Here are just a few photos of the finished cards. Please don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe to see more of my work. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.